more than just the money, the cars, and the lifestyle that forex trading can give to you. People tend to misjudge what really forex trading is about. Just like any other activity one will take, forex trading needs a set of skills that are necessary to partake it.
It's being able to function from a probabilistic perspective. There can be a huge reality gap between, let's say, our understanding of what it means, of what probabilities mean. Like, I'm saying, hey, our pattern gives us an edge, over a series of trades, over a series of 10 trades, 7 are going to be winners, 3 are going to be losers. The problem is we don't know which ones are going to win and which ones are going to lose. So if I'm going to actually extract the profit potential in that edge, it requires that I be able to take every single trade in the series or the sequence without making errors. Makes sense, right? Okay, understanding that and believing it at the core of your personality so that you can actually do it are two completely different things. We can say we can think of ourselves as a probabilistic thinker. Say, yeah, oh yeah, I get it, I understand it. But if you can't execute all 10 trades flawlessly, then I can guarantee you you can't function at a probabilistic perspective. Because when you can, you will be able to lose without thinking you're a loser. You will be able to be wrong without thinking there's anything wrong with you. Because that's in essence where we're going. This is what makes trading so hard. We live in a society that's completely obsessed with winning is everything. Avoid losses at all costs. Winning is everything. Avoid losses at all costs. These are very powerful belief systems. You think they're just going to go away and not assert themselves on what you do and how you behave just because you have this understanding in probabilities? Just because you might read a book or go to a conference and say, hey, you know what? This is a probabilistic environment that we're dealing in, and you got to think in odds. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. Try doing it. Because what you do is going to be a function of what you believe. And if you can't do it, it means that there are conflicting beliefs that say that, you know what? No, this is not right. I think my analysis should tell me what's going on. And even though at a conscious level you're thinking, no, that's not what this is all about, it doesn't mean that that energy isn't asserting itself on how you behave. Otherwise you wouldn't be afraid. You were at the casinos last night. How is it that if we lose, it taps us into, we have a losing experience. It can tap us into all the accumulated negative energy, like I put yesterday, of what it means to lose in our life. Losing has the potential to tap us into all this negative emotional energy. I don't want to feel that way. Most people with, let's say, a normal psychological makeup also don't want to feel that way. We will avoid this at all costs. I don't like the feeling of what it means to be wrong, all the negative energy. Brings up all the times we're berated as kids, someone ridiculing us, teachers, coaches, whatever. So if my trading experiences have the potential to tap me in to these two belief systems or these memories, the memories of what it means to lose and what it means to be wrong, well, you know what? I've got big problems because you know what? If I can't lose and I can't be wrong without it resonating, negative emotional energy, there's only one other way that I can think of to help me avoid tapping into all this, and this through analysis.
You don't always need to know and battle with yourself as right or wrong. It's extremely hard for a lot of people, and especially our generation, to just be. Every decision, every thought is always questioned. Should I be thinking this? Should I be doing this right now? Shouldn't I be at the gym? You can't even enjoy 1 second because you're constantly questioning, can I do this? Should I be doing this? Is this the person I want to be? Don't always need to know and battle with yourself as right or wrong. It's extremely hard for a lot of people, and especially our generation, to just be. Every decision, every thought is always questioned. Should I be thinking this? Should I be doing this right now? Shouldn't I be at the gym? You can't even enjoy 1 second because you're constantly questioning, can I do this? Should I be doing this? Is this the person I want to be? Blah, 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 blah. Every second that goes by in the day is always thinking about something else, and it's always a what if mentality. A what if mentality, it's a fool's mentality 90% of the time. Now, there are times when you need to have deep thinking time, and it's like, okay, well, where do I want to be? And what do I want to do? And like, what's the work that I'm going to put in? But most of the time, day-to-day living about practicing, about being in the moment, is understanding that it's cutting out all those times in your head that you're questioning.
Okay, if you have equity balance of $10,000, you're going to risk 10%. Now, the first loss you assume, guess what you just took? A $1,000 loss. Okay, the system says continue risking 10%. So what do? You get in and you take the next trade. Bang, you hit with a $900 loss. Your equity now sits at $8,100. 3 losses. You hit with another $810 loss. Bang. Your account's now at $7,290. This goes on for what could easily be seen in anyone's trading 8-string loss. 8-string loss. That is absolutely realistic, guys. I don't care how good a trader you are. You're going to get this upside your head one day, and you need to be prepared for it. If you're going to risk 10% of your equity simply because you think you're going to be hitting it on the next trade and you've been in drawdown, there's a psychological impact that traders go through, and we more or less deny the technicals that may be indicating that we're in a trade that's not going to pan out, but we won't let go of it. We start arm wrestling with the market because, hey, we're going to be right, and it's going to feel so good when we are, and we can give the middle finger, not to be crude to the screen, cuss at the screen, say I got you, I got my money back. Everybody wants to have that, that feeling of conquering the market and beating the guy that took the money from you last time. Everybody wants to go into the end zone, slam the football down, and do their victory dance and all that. But that doesn't work in this business, and they'll hand you your head on a platter. If you give them the opportunity to take your money, and a lot of it, they're going to be more than happy to take it from you. If you just take an 8-loss streak here in your equity of $10,000, your account draws down $5,217. That's 52%. 52%, folks. Do you think you can take 8 trades in a single week? The way some of you guys on these forums trade, this could happen in a day. Now, I'm not saying that most of you guys aren't risking 10%, but there are some neophytes that come into this business and think they're going to be able to do it. And I'm sorry, but maybe you'll come off the gate, make a couple wins, and think, man, I'm risking 10%, and look, it's really working out well. But man, I'm telling you, that cycle leads to destruction. All right, just 8 trades. Look at this. If you have 8 losses, you're crushed. That's a huge drawdown. Not to mention the emotional impact and your mental equity, because not only are we trading with real tangible money, currency in our account, that equity base is not limited just to the dollar terms. You have an equity amount of money in your mind, what you're really willing to absorb and risk. You may have put $10,000 in an account, but man, you don't really want to be losing $4,000 of it. So what are you really trading with? $4,000. That's your mental capital. So we're going to talk more about that when we get into wealth building, money management. But for now, understand that risking 10% absolutely should be no-brainer for you. You don't do that. Okay, maybe you're so turned off by 10%, but hey, you're not too afraid of taking risks. So 5% per trade is, it's doable for you. $10,000 starting account. Okay, first loss, bang, $500 loss. Now your account drops down to $9,500. You do this for a couple series of losses. At the 5th loss, okay, now your account's down to $7,737. But hey, you're going to make it back, and you're not going to bend 5% risk on every trade. Well, with the standard typical 8-string loss that can happen to anybody. I'm not saying you're going to have this once a month. I'm not saying you're going to have it 3 times a year, but it's going to happen eventually. If you are in this business at any length of time, you will suffer a 8-loss string. It's going to happen. If you had the risk of 5% per trade, starting with an equity balance of $10,000, your equity would draw down to the tune of $3,016, or 30% drawdown. Can you withstand that? Can you imagine taking 8 trades in a single week and being drawn down 30%? Let me tell you something. I have done that. Okay, and it is absolutely demoralizing, because if you come out the gate strong, thinking, yeah, man, I'm gonna tear it up. Well, yeah, you're gonna tear it up, all right. You're gonna tear up your account, okay, and you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be depressed for the entire weekend. You're gonna mow over possibly adding more money, when that's not the answer. The answer is controlling the amount of money that you put up, and controlling yourself is very difficult when you're in a period of drawdown if you're a new trader. I'm talking from experience, okay? When I got involved with commodities, I was trading, 5 and 6, 7 contracts of Chicago Board Trade wheat, and really my balance really should have been working with 1 mid-am contract. And I'm not going to go into contracts and specifications for commodities, but I'm just saying that I was over leveraging. And the worst part of it, I knew I was over leveraging. And when I was losing, it didn't hurt enough. I was going to be right. I was imposing my will in the market. And I'm telling you, you will lose doing that. It will hurt you doing that. You don't gain anything from that except for misery and depression. Trust me, I know. Okay? So 5% risk is absolutely too much. It's insane. Don't do it.
What is an edge? An edge is nothing more than waiting for a condition where the likelihood of one thing happening is greater than another. Stop yourself from trying to be right all the time. Successful trading is not about creating certainties that will never exist in the market where anything can happen. The only thing that you can do is identify and execute on probabilities. Remember, there is no perfect setup, there is no perfect strategy. You have no control over if your next trade is a win or if your next trade is a loss. In order to have an edge, you need to have a systematic approach. If you don't have a systematic approach, then your wins are going to be unlucky, and you might have a winning streak in the short term from luck, but without an edge, you are always going to give it all back. You need to have a systematic approach that statistically gives you your edge in order to be successful.
To be a successful forex trader, you have to incorporate psychology, edge, and also risk management, so that you can get to be in the long run in the game and to reap the fruits of your labor. Thanks for watching.